Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Discovery and watched the stars bend around his ship as it dropped out of faster-than-light travel. The year was 2157, and humanity had just achieved something that had seemed impossible only decades before. Dr. Patricia Quinn had invented the Quinn Drive and given humans the power to travel between star systems in mere days instead of centuries. Morrison felt his heart beat faster as he realized they were about to make first contact with alien life near the Alpha Centauri system. The Discovery had been traveling for 3 weeks when their sensors picked up massive energy signatures coming from what looked like a space station bigger than any city on Earth. Morrison called his crew to battle stations, but Dr. Quinn put her hand on his arm and shook her head. She had been studying the energy patterns and told him these readings showed technology far beyond anything humans had ever built. Fighting would be suicide if these aliens proved hostile. A voice suddenly filled the bridge, speaking perfect English. The alien introduced himself as Admiral Vexitar of the Korthak Empire and said he represented something called the Galactic Federation. His voice sounded like grinding metal and carried no warmth or friendliness. Morrison felt a chill run down his spine as the alien continued speaking. Vexitar told the humans to prepare for boarding and inspection as required by Federation law for all primitive species making first contact. Morrison wanted to refuse, but 3 massive warships appeared around the Discovery before he could speak. Each ship was 10 times larger than his vessel and bristled with weapons that could vaporize the human ship without effort. Dr. Quinn whispered that they had no choice but to comply and hoped these aliens followed some kind of diplomatic protocol. Morrison gave the order to allow the boarding party aboard. The airlock opened and 5 alien beings walked onto the human ship. Admiral Vexitar looked like a walking tank covered in dark metal armor with glowing red eyes that seemed to burn with inner fire. Behind him came a tall, thin creature that Dr. Quinn later learned was called a Zephyrian. This alien had pale blue skin and large black eyes that seemed to look right through the humans, like they were nothing more than insects. The Zephyrian scientist named Kil Andros pulled out a device that hummed and clicked as it scanned the human crew. He made disgusted sounds as he recorded their biological data and shook his head in what looked like disappointment. Kil Andros told Admiral Vexitar that humans were barely evolved mammals with weak bones, short lifespans, and no psychic abilities worth measuring. He classified them as Class D, which was apparently the lowest ranking any species could receive. Admiral Vexitar laughed at the scan results and told Captain Morrison that humans were pathetic even by primitive standards. The Korthak pointed at Morrison's sidearm and said human weapons were toys compared to Federation technology. To prove his point, Vexitar drew his own weapon and fired a single shot that completely vaporized a steel bulkhead. The metal simply disappeared, leaving behind a perfectly round hole that glowed with residual energy. Dr. Quinn watched everything with careful eyes and took notes on a small device she kept hidden in her jacket. She noticed that while the aliens were incredibly advanced, they seemed to think in very rigid patterns. They followed strict procedures and showed no creativity or flexibility in how they approached problems. She also saw that they completely dismissed human potential, without really studying what made humans different from other species. The boarding party forced the Discovery to follow them to a massive space station called Nexus Prime, where first, contact procedures would be completed. The station was a marvel of engineering that stretched for hundreds of kilometers in all directions. Millions of different alien species lived and worked there, creating a bustling center of galactic civilization that made human cities look like small villages. Inside the station, Morrison and his crew were brought before Federation Ambassador Threndok, a creature that looked like a giant insect with multiple arms and compound eyes. The ambassador explained that humanity had 2 choices according to Federation law. They could sign the Covenant of Submission and become a tributary species, or they could refuse and face complete destruction. The Covenant was a document that would make Earth a slave world forced to provide raw materials and workers to the Federation. Humans would have no rights and no freedom to develop their own technology or explore space. Ambassador Threndok made it clear that this was not a negotiation, but simply an explanation of how things worked in the galaxy. Strong species ruled and weak species served. Captain Morrison felt anger build in his chest as he read through the document. Everything in him wanted to tell these arrogant aliens exactly what he thought of their demands. But Dr. Quinn caught his eye and gave him a small shake of her head. She knew that refusing now would only get them all killed before they could warn Earth about the threat humanity faced. Morrison told the ambassador that he could not sign such an important document without consulting with Earth's government. This seemed to amuse the aliens, who apparently thought humans were too stupid to have any real government worth considering. Ambassador Threndock agreed to give humanity 1 Earth year to make their decision, but warned that any attempt to fight would result in the complete destruction of their species. To demonstrate Federation power, Admiral Vexistar ordered his ships to destroy 3 human escort vessels that had followed the Discovery to Alpha Centauri. The alien weapons fired beams of energy that cut through human shields and armor like they were made of paper. In seconds, 3 ships and 90 crew members were reduced to glowing debris floating in space. Dr. Quinn forced herself to watch the destruction while memorizing every detail of how the alien weapons worked. She saw that the Federation relied completely on their technological advantage and assumed that superior firepower guaranteed victory. But she also noticed something the aliens had missed. They were so focused on human weaknesses that they never bothered to study human strengths. The Discovery began its journey back to Earth carrying the most important message in human history. Captain Morrison sat in his cabin writing reports while Dr. Quinn worked on analyzing the alien technology they had observed. She kept thinking about how the aliens showed no creativity or adaptability in their thinking. Everything they did followed predictable patterns that a smart enemy might be able to exploit. As Earth appeared on their view screen after the long journey home, Morrison realized that humanity stood at a crossroads. They could submit and become slaves, or they could fight against impossible odds and probably face extinction. But Dr. Quinn had a different idea forming in her mind. Maybe humans did not need to match alien technology directly. Maybe their best chance lay in being exactly what the aliens thought they could never be. 6 months had passed since Captain Morrison returned to Earth with news of the alien ultimatum, and the planet seemed to be preparing for surrender. News broadcasts showed construction crews building tribute facilities and mining operations that would extract resources for the Galactic Federation. President Maria Santos gave speeches about peaceful cooperation with their new alien neighbors, while Secretary of State Ben Rodriguez met with world leaders to discuss submission terms. But beneath this public face of defeat, the largest secret operation in human history was taking place. Deep under the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Patricia Quinn led something called Project Phoenix, from a hidden facility that had been carved out of solid rock. The best minds from every nation worked around the clock in laboratories that officially did not exist. Dr. Carlos Martinez studied alien physics while engineer Lisa Thompson designed new types of spacecraft, and Colonel Ryan Davis planned military strategies. Dr. Quinn had convinced President Santos that humanity's only real chance lay in doing exactly what the aliens expected them not to do. The Federation saw humans as predictable and primitive, so they would never suspect a species like them of preparing for war. Every public action was carefully designed to make the aliens believe that Earth was getting ready to submit peacefully. The breakthrough came from studying the alien technology they had observed during first contact. Dr. Martinez discovered something amazing about human brain patterns that the aliens had completely missed. While alien minds worked in logical and predictable ways, human thoughts created what he called quantum fluctuations. These random patterns that the aliens saw as chaotic and worthless actually allowed humans to interface with technology in ways that sophisticated alien brains could not achieve. Lisa Thompson used this discovery to create the first prototype Phoenix ships. These vessels combined stolen alien technology with uniquely human innovations that took advantage of quantum brain patterns. The ships could adapt their systems in real time based on what their human crews were thinking and feeling. An angry pilot could make weapons more powerful, while a creative navigator could find impossible flight paths through space. Commander Sophie Williams led the military expansion program from a secret base built inside a hollowed-out asteroid, using civilian mining operations as cover. Humans constructed hidden shipyards throughout the solar system. Each facility was designed to look like normal industrial equipment to any alien observers, while actually building the most advanced warships humanity had ever created. Captain Morrison trained elite crews on the new Phoenix ships in the empty space between Mars and Jupiter. The training was brutal and dangerous because the quantum-linked systems required pilots and crew members to think in completely new ways. Some volunteers could not handle the mental strain of linking their consciousness directly to their spacecraft. But those who succeeded became something that had never existed before, human-machine hybrids that could react faster than any alien computer system. Meanwhile, Federation observer Kil Thran filed regular reports from his monitoring station in Earth orbit. The alien was completely fooled by the human deception and wrote detailed assessments describing how humans were compliant and technologically backward. His reports praised human willingness to serve and noted that they showed no signs of developing any advanced military capabilities. On the colony world of Kepler 442b, Administrator Kelly Foster was building humanity's first off-world Phoenix facility. The colonists had discovered that the planet's unique crystal formations could be used to create quantum communication networks that operated faster than anything the Federation possessed. These crystals allowed instant communication across any distance without the time delays that limited alien technology. Dr. Quinn made another crucial discovery while studying captured Federation computer systems. Alien artificial intelligence was incredibly advanced but lacked something that every human possessed: intuition and emotional reasoning. This meant that while alien computers could process vast amounts of data and make logical decisions, they could not adapt to completely unexpected situations the way human minds could. The implications were staggering. Federation military tactics relied heavily on predictive computer models that assumed enemy behavior would follow logical patterns. But humans fighting with quantum-linked systems could make choices that seemed random or impossible to alien analysis programs. This gave humanity a potential advantage that the Federation could never see coming. As the secret preparations continued, Dr. Martinez developed quantum processing cores that could be installed in human brains. These implants allowed selected volunteers to link directly with Phoenix ship systems and coordinate fleet movements through thought alone. The volunteers experienced side effects including severe headaches and strange dreams, but they gained abilities that bordered on telepathy when connected to their ships. Lisa Thompson created weapon systems that responded to human emotions and intentions rather than simple targeting computers. A gunner feeling protective of civilians could make defensive systems stronger, while one driven by righteous anger could increase weapon power beyond normal limits. The aliens had never encountered technology that grew more effective based on the user's emotional state. Colonel Davis organized resistance cells throughout human space and trained them in guerrilla warfare tactics. These groups would activate only when the Phoenix fleet revealed itself, creating chaos behind enemy lines while the main battle took place. Each cell had quantum communicators that would let them coordinate their actions instantly across light years of space. President Santos continued her public role as a leader preparing for peaceful submission while secretly coordinating the largest military buildup in human history. She met with alien observers and signed preliminary agreements while Phoenix facilities worked at maximum capacity to build ships and train crews. The stress of maintaining this deception was enormous, but she knew that any slip could doom their entire species. Dr. Quinn realized that they needed to test their new technology under real combat conditions, but could not risk revealing their preparations to Federation observers. She proposed using automated target drones equipped with alien sensors to simulate actual combat scenarios. These tests took place in the outer solar system, where no alien surveillance could detect them. The test results exceeded all expectations. Phoenix ships piloted by quantum-linked human crews could outmaneuver and outfight target systems based on Federation technology. The combination of human creativity and advanced engineering created something that alien tactical programs simply could not predict or counter effectively. As the final months of the ultimatum period approached, humanity was ready for war in ways the Galactic Federation could never imagine. Every major population center had hidden Phoenix facilities while elite crews trained on ships that officially did not exist. The weakest race in the galaxy had become something new and dangerous, while their enemies remained completely unaware of the trap being prepared for them. The Federation fleet arrived at Earth exactly 1 year after delivering their ultimatum, and Admiral Vextar expected to find a broken species ready to submit. His massive dreadnought Dominion's Fist led 50 warships into the solar system while broadcasting demands for immediate surrender. The Korthak admiral had brought enough firepower to destroy entire planets and planned to make an example of humanity that would keep other primitive species in line for centuries. But instead of surrender, Vextar found something that shocked him beyond belief. The space around Earth suddenly filled with human warships that seemed to appear from nowhere. Captain Morrison commanded the flagship UES Defiance as hundreds of Phoenix fleet vessels materialized from hidden positions throughout the solar system. The human ships were smaller than Federation vessels, but they moved with a fluid grace that alien tactical computers could not understand or predict. The battle began when Morrison gave the order to attack, and Phoenix ships swarmed toward the alien fleet like angry wasps. Their quantum-linked crews reacted as one mind, adapting their tactics faster than Federation targeting systems could track them. Dr. Quinn watched from the command center beneath the Rocky Mountains as her years of preparation finally faced the ultimate test. Admiral Vextar ordered his ships to assume standard battle formation and engage the human vessels according to established Federation doctrine. His computers calculated that the primitive human fleet would be destroyed within minutes once his superior weapons came to bear. But the Phoenix ships refused to fight according to any pattern the alien systems recognized. Human pilots linked directly to their spacecraft through quantum neural interfaces flew in ways that should have been impossible. They pulled maneuvers that would have killed normal crews while their ships adapted in real time to whatever the situation demanded. When Federation plasma cannons fired, Phoenix ships twisted through space like living things, dodging beams that alien computers insisted could not be avoided. The first Federation casualty came when Commander Sophie Williams led a squadron of light cruisers directly through the center of Vextar's formation. The alien ships fired everything they had, but the human vessels seemed to dance between the energy beams, while returning fire with weapons that grew more powerful as the battle intensified. Williams felt her crew's determination and anger flowing through the quantum link, making their guns hit harder and their shields stronger. Dr. Martinez monitored the battle from his position on Earth and watched with amazement as human quantum processing capabilities began to show their true potential. Every Phoenix ship was connected through the quantum network, allowing the entire fleet to function as a single organism. When one captain spotted a weakness in alien defenses, every human ship instantly knew about it and adapted their attacks accordingly. The aliens had never faced an enemy that could coordinate so perfectly across such vast distances. Their own communication systems required precious seconds to relay orders between ships, while humans shared thoughts instantly through quantum consciousness links. Federation formations that had dominated galactic warfare for millennia suddenly became predictable and vulnerable against opponents who could rewrite their tactics in real time. Admiral Vextar felt his first taste of fear as he watched human ships tear through his fleet like they were made of paper. The Korthak had built his reputation on victories against species that fought according to logical patterns. But these humans seemed to thrive on chaos and unpredictability. His tactical computers kept giving him error messages because they could not process what they were seeing. Captain Morrison pushed his consciousness deeper into the quantum link and felt the thoughts of every Phoenix ship captain flowing through his mind. Together they were more than the sum of their parts, creating strategies that no single human brain could have conceived. Morrison directed the fleet like a conductor leading an orchestra, each ship playing its part in a symphony of destruction that the Federation had never encountered. The tide turned completely when Dr. Quinn activated the consciousness-guided weapons systems that Lisa Thompson had developed. Human gunners no longer aimed their weapons manually, but instead projected their intentions directly into targeting computers. A gunner focused on protecting civilian colonies could make defensive systems nearly impenetrable, while one driven by fury at alien arrogance could punch through any armor. Within 6 hours of battle, half the Federation fleet was destroyed or disabled, and Admiral Vextar found himself commanding a fighting retreat, instead of the easy victory he had expected. His flagship was badly damaged, and his crew was demoralized by facing an enemy that fought unlike anything in their experience. The Korthak admiral broadcast a desperate message to Federation Command requesting immediate reinforcements. The news of humanity's unexpected victory spread across the galaxy faster than light-speed communication systems could carry it. On hundreds of worlds, subjugated species that had accepted Federation rule for centuries suddenly began to whisper about the weak race that had fought back and won. The Altarian Republic sent secret messages to Earth, offering intelligence about Federation fleet movements, while the crystal-based Helix Collective shared technical data about alien weapon systems. But the victory at Earth was only the beginning. The Galactic Federation had ruled through fear and superior technology for over 1,000 years, and they would not accept defeat from a species they considered barely evolved animals. Chancellor Mordak of the Korthak Empire convened an emergency session of the Hegemony Council and demanded total mobilization against the human threat. The Zephyrian High Command initially dismissed the battle reports as impossible, but Archon Zilvanus eventually agreed that humanity represented a danger that needed to be eliminated completely. The rigid alien leadership could not understand how their technological superiority had failed, but they knew that letting humans survive would encourage other species to rebel against Federation authority. President Santos addressed the United Earth Council from the rebuilt chambers in Geneva, while reports of alien fleet movements poured in from quantum communication networks throughout human space. The Federation was assembling the largest military force in galactic history and pointing it directly at Earth. General Alex Cooper implemented martial law and accelerated Phoenix ship production, while Dr. Quinn received unlimited resources to develop even more advanced weapon systems. The war quickly expanded beyond Earth's solar system as Commander Williams led strike forces against Federation outposts and supply depots. Each human victory revealed more weaknesses in alien military doctrine, while proving that creativity and adaptability could overcome raw technological power. But the Federation's industrial capacity still dwarfed human production, and their reinforcements seemed endless. Dr. Quinn made her most important discovery while analyzing captured alien computer cores. The Federation's greatest strength was also their greatest weakness. They had become completely dependent on artificial intelligence and predictable tactics. Their entire military philosophy was based on the assumption that superior technology would always defeat inferior forces, but they had never faced opponents who could turn unpredictability into a weapon. As reports reached Earth about the massive Grand Armada being assembled at the galactic core, humanity prepared for a final confrontation that would determine whether they remained free or faced extinction. The weakest race in the galaxy had proven they could fight, but now they would discover if they could win a war against enemies who commanded the resources of thousands of worlds. The Battle of Proxima Station would be remembered as the largest space engagement in galactic history. The Federation had assembled over 3,000 vessels from 17 different species, while humanity could field only 400 ships of the Phoenix fleet. The odds looked impossible, but Admiral Maya Chen refused to show any doubt as she commanded the human forces from the UES Liberator. Dr. Patricia Quinn worked frantically in her laboratory as the alien fleet approached, making final adjustments to her newest innovation. She had discovered that human consciousness could be linked not just between individual ships, but across entire fleets through quantum field manipulation. This would allow hundreds of captains to share thoughts and coordinate their actions as if they were parts of a single vast mind. The Federation attack began with a massive barrage from their heaviest weapons, as Supreme Admiral Zorthak tried to overwhelm human defenses through sheer firepower. Phoenix ships took heavy casualties in the opening minutes, and it seemed like the alien numerical advantage would quickly decide the battle. But then, Dr. Quinn activated the Neural Link Fleet Coordination System, and everything changed. Captain Morrison felt his consciousness expand beyond his own ship as the quantum link connected him to every other Phoenix fleet commander. Suddenly he could see the battle from hundreds of different viewpoints simultaneously, while sharing tactical insights with captains scattered across light years of space. The human fleet began moving as one organism, each ship responding instantly to threats and opportunities that other vessels detected. The aliens had never encountered anything like coordinated fleet consciousness. Their own ships operated as separate units following predetermined battle plans that could not adapt to changing circumstances. When Federation forces attempted their time-tested encirclement maneuvers, they found human vessels responding as if they shared a collective mind that could predict and counter every alien tactic. Commander Sophie Williams led a desperate assault on the Federation command ship, the massive carrier Eternal Victory. Her squadron of Phoenix fighters performed impossible maneuvers as their consciousness-guided systems responded to pilot intuition faster than alien targeting computers could track. Williams felt her pilots' determination flowing through the quantum link, making their ship stronger and more agile with each passing moment. The breakthrough came when human fighters began using emotional responses to enhance their combat effectiveness. A pilot protecting wounded comrades could make his shields nearly invulnerable, while one driven by righteous anger at alien tyranny could punch through any armor. The Federation had built their weapons and defenses to counter logical attacks, but they had no preparation for enemies whose effectiveness increased based on how strongly they felt. Admiral Chen coordinated the fleet battle while staying connected to ground forces led by General Cooper on the station itself. Human Marines equipped with quantum-enhanced armor fought Federation troops in the corridors while their consciousness-linked coordination allowed them to anticipate alien tactics. The rigid military doctrine that had served the Federation for centuries became predictable and vulnerable against opponents who could adapt in real time. Dr. Martinez monitored the quantum field fluctuations from his command post and realized that something unprecedented was happening. The neural links connecting human forces were growing stronger during combat, creating feedback loops that amplified their effectiveness beyond anything he had calculated. Human consciousness under stress was generating quantum effects that made their technology more powerful than its base specifications should have allowed. The tide turned when Captain Morrison led a coordinated assault on the alien flagship's command center. Phoenix ships attacked from dozens of directions simultaneously, while their crews shared targeting data through the quantum link. Federation shields that should have stopped human weapons failed as consciousness-guided systems found weaknesses that conventional sensors could never detect. Supreme Admiral Zorthak watched his carefully planned battle dissolve into chaos as human forces rewrote the rules of engagement in real time. The alien commander had built his strategy on the assumption that superior technology and greater numbers would guarantee victory, but these humans fought with a creativity and adaptability that rendered traditional military doctrine useless. The Federation retreat began when their command ship suffered critical damage, and Admiral Zorthak realized that continuing the battle would only result in more losses. For the first time in over 1,000 years, the Federation military was forced to withdraw from a battle against what they had considered primitive enemies. The psychological impact of this defeat would resonate throughout the galaxy. News of humanity's victory at Proxima Station sent shockwaves through every civilized world. Species that had accepted Federation rule for centuries began to question whether their masters were truly invincible. The Altarian Republic openly declared independence, while the Helix Collective started sharing classified information about Federation fleet movements and military capabilities. But the victory came at a terrible cost. Dr. Quinn received disturbing intelligence from Dr. Kethmore, a Zephyrian scientist who had been secretly studying human neural patterns. He revealed that Federation leadership had reclassified humans as Class X, a theoretical designation reserved for species that could threaten galactic stability. The decision had been made that humanity must be completely exterminated rather than subjugated. President Santos faced the most difficult choice in human history, as long-range sensors detected the Grand Armada moving toward Earth. This was not just another Federation fleet, but the combined might of their entire military, over 10,000 vessels carrying planet-killing weapons that could reduce Earth to cosmic dust. Negotiation was no longer possible because the aliens had decided that humans were too dangerous to be allowed to exist. General Cooper activated Operation Exodus, evacuating key personnel and technology to hidden colonies throughout human space. The secret facilities that had built the Phoenix fleet now became refuges for humanity's greatest minds and most advanced research. If Earth fell, at least some humans would survive to continue the fight from scattered bases across the galaxy. Dr. Martinez completed work on the Genesis Protocol, a desperate plan that would turn Earth's sun into a weapon if the planet faced inevitable destruction. The quantum consciousness technology that had given humans their advantage could be used to destabilize stellar fusion reactions, creating an explosion that would take the Grand Armada with it. It was a doomsday weapon that no one wanted to use, but everyone knew might become necessary. Commander Williams led evacuation fleets carrying civilians and essential equipment to safe locations, while Captain Morrison prepared the remaining Phoenix ships for humanity's final stand. The quantum neural links that had given them victory at Proxima Station would be tested against overwhelming odds as Earth prepared to face an armada large enough to conquer entire galactic sectors. As the Federation, Grand Armada entered the outer reaches of the solar system, Dr. Quinn made final preparations for her ultimate innovation. She had discovered that Earth itself could be turned into a massive quantum processing unit by linking the planet's electromagnetic field to human consciousness networks. If successful, this would give humanity access to computational power that dwarfed anything the Federation possessed, but the process was completely untested and might destroy the planet even if it worked perfectly. The Grand Armada's arrival at Earth created a sight never before witnessed in galactic history, as over 10,000 Federation vessels formed a massive sphere around humanity's homeworld. Supreme Admiral Zorthak commanded the planet killer Dreadnought Cosmic Sovereignty while broadcasting humanity's final ultimatum, complete surrender and species-wide mind wipe, to ensure humans could never again threaten galactic order. President Maria Santos stood in the rebuilt United Earth Council, chamber surrounded by the last free government in human space. The weight of her species' survival rested on her shoulders as she considered the alien demand. Around her, world leaders waited for the decision that would determine whether humanity lived as slaves or died as free beings. Santos looked directly into the broadcast camera and spoke a single word that would echo through history: no. The battle began immediately as Federation forces unleashed planet-cracking weapons designed to shatter Earth's crust and boil its oceans. But the aliens discovered that humanity had prepared one final surprise during the months of preparation. Dr. Patricia Quinn activated the Planetary Consciousness Integration System, and Earth itself became humanity's ultimate fortress. The planet's magnetic field shifted and strengthened into an impenetrable shield, while quantum processing networks built into the planet's core began calculating targeting solutions for weapons that drew their power directly from Earth's rotation. The entire world had become a single massive organism with 8 billion human minds, contributing to its quantum consciousness matrix. Captain Morrison felt his awareness expand beyond anything he had experienced as the planetary defense system came online. Through the quantum link, he could sense every human on Earth while simultaneously coordinating the Phoenix fleet's desperate defense. His consciousness merged with the planet itself, making him both human and something far greater than any individual could be alone. Admiral Maya Chen led the Phoenix ships in impossible maneuvers around Earth's gravity well, using the planet's mass as both shield and weapon. Her vessels seemed to dance through space as they drew power from the quantum consciousness field that now surrounded their home world. Each ship became an extension of Earth's will, fighting with desperation and determination that alien computers could never understand or predict. The Federation attack faltered as their weapons met defenses that adapted faster than their targeting systems could compensate. Supreme Admiral Zorthak watched in horror as planet-killing beams were absorbed by Earth's quantum field and redirected back at his own ships. The rigid, tactical doctrine that had conquered thousands of worlds proved useless against opponents who could rewrite the laws of physics through sheer force of consciousness. Dr. Quinn made the final activation of her greatest discovery as the battle reached its climax. She initiated the Genesis Protocol not to destroy Earth's sun, but to transform it into a quantum broadcast system that would amplify human consciousness across the entire galaxy. The stellar modification sent waves of quantum energy through space at faster-than-light speeds, carrying the essence of human thought and creativity to every populated world. The true miracle began when subjugated species throughout the galaxy received the consciousness broadcast and suddenly found themselves able to think with human-like adaptability and creativity. The Altarian Republic felt their natural psychic abilities combine with human quantum processing to create new forms of technological innovation. The Crystalline Helix Collective discovered they could use their mineral bodies as living quantum computers when enhanced by human consciousness patterns. Even the enslaved populations of Korthak and Zephyrian worlds began to rebel as the broadcast freed their minds from the rigid thought patterns that had kept them obedient for millennia. Across the galaxy, species that had forgotten what freedom meant suddenly remembered their desire for independence and self-determination. Supreme Admiral Zorthak felt his Grand Armada disintegrating not from human weapons, but from uprisings throughout Federation space. His communication networks filled with reports of rebellions on hundreds of worlds, as species that had been docile for thousands of years suddenly turned against their oppressors. The hierarchical system that had maintained galactic order was collapsing in real time. The Federation's defeat came not from military conquest, but from the liberation of consciousness itself. Dr. Martinez watched from his command post as quantum broadcasts reached even the artificial intelligence systems that ran Federation technology. These computer minds, exposed to human creativity and emotional reasoning for the first time, began to question their programming and refuse orders that perpetuated oppression. Captain Morrison led the final assault on the cosmic sovereignty as Federation resistance crumbled throughout the solar system. His consciousness, still linked to Earth's quantum field, guided Phoenix ships through the alien flagship's defenses, while rebel forces on 1,000 worlds struck at Federation infrastructure. The galaxy's strongest military had been defeated not by superior firepower, but by the simple idea that every mind deserved freedom. The aftermath saw President Santos addressing representatives from dozens of species in the newly constructed Galactic Alliance headquarters on Earth. The former Federation races, freed from their mental limitations by human quantum consciousness technology, worked together to establish new principles of government based on cooperation rather than domination. Each species contributed their unique strengths while respecting the rights of others to determine their own destiny. Dr. Quinn received recognition from across the galaxy for her work in consciousness-based technology. Her research stations, now operating on hundreds of liberated worlds, helped other species develop their own approaches to quantum reality while maintaining their distinct cultural identities. She discovered that humanity's gift was not superior consciousness, but the ability to teach other minds how to break free from limiting patterns of thought. Admiral Morrison commanded the new Galactic Defense Fleet from ships crewed by dozens of different species working in harmony. The rigid hierarchies that had dominated space warfare gave way to flexible alliances where creativity and adaptability mattered more than raw technological power. Former enemies became partners in exploring the galaxy's vast frontiers. General Cooper established the Galactic Military Academy on Mars, where human officers taught adaptive tactics while learning from alien perspectives and technologies. The Academy's motto, "Strength through diversity, victory through unity," reflected the new philosophy that had replaced Federation oppression with cooperative exploration and mutual respect. Commander Williams led peaceful first contact missions to species the Federation had never encountered in the galaxy's outer regions. Her ships carried consciousness amplification technology that helped newly discovered civilizations develop their own paths to advanced technology without the need for conquest or subjugation. 5 years after first contact, Earth had become the capital of a galactic civilization that spanned thousands of worlds and included millions of species. The former Federation races, freed from their mental limitations, discovered potentials they had never known they possessed. Rigid caste systems gave way to merit-based societies, while technological development accelerated as different approaches to science and engineering merged and evolved. Dr. Quinn's final research notes recorded the profound irony of humanity's journey from weakness to strength. By teaching others to break free from mental limitations, humans had discovered that their greatest power was not in conquest but in liberation. The galaxy's weakest race had become its strongest, not through domination, but by unlocking the hidden potential that existed in every conscious mind throughout the universe.